Hello, my name's Mike and I'm from Access Irrigation Ltd. Today we're looking at threaded fittings. Now threaded fittings can cause a bit of confusion. They're all BSP, which means British Standard Pipe, and when they were first thought of, the sizing was related to the pipe. I have a bit of galvanised pipe here, and if I measure it, the inside of it at least, it measures 3/4. But you'll notice if I measure the thread, it measures 1 inch. Now that's because obviously if it's a 3/4 pipe and I want to put a thread on it, the thread is going to be bigger than the actual pipe itself. So bear that in mind, it's 1/4 of an inch bigger. Okay, now I've got a bit of a pipe here, that's easy to measure the pipe itself. What if I've got a fitting? Well, the simplest method is to actually look at the stamp on the actual fitting itself. You'll find that all threaded fittings will have a label of what size it actually is. So this one says 3/4 BSP. So if I measure it now, I will find that because the thread's on the outside, remember, it's actually measures 1 inch. So don't get confused when you're ordering up BSP threaded fittings. Now, if you're still confused, have a look at our catalogue. There's a great dimensions page there with all sorts of useful information, and that's downloadable from our website as well. Okay, now we've sized our threaded fittings, how do they seal together? Well, you'll notice on some threaded fittings they have a seal already in them, which makes life a lot easier. All you do is you simply thread them together and nip them up with a pair of grips. If they don't, then you're going to need to seal the threads, and we do that by using PTFE tape or a Teflon coated tape. Now we tend to use the gas quality type tape, which means that the tape itself is fairly thick, which means you need less of it and it gives you a better seal. So how do you do it? Well, simply put it around the threads in a clockwise direction, and as you're doing it, give it a slight tug and then just wind it round. Give it something like a 50% overlap on it and wind it round a couple of times. Don't put too little on or else it won't seal. Don't put too much on or else you may damage the fitting it's going into. If you do it right, it should stay on the actual threads you do it, so when you put it in, it's easy to do. Now don't cross thread it, or be careful that you don't cross thread it as you're screwing it in, and as you're screwing it in it should be nice and firm or nice and tight when you screw it in. If it's really slack, then put a bit more tape on it. If you can't get it in, then obviously you've put too much tape on. Simply tighten it up with a pair of grips and that should give you a nice tight watertight seal.